Hello friends, family, other creatures of the sea. Welcome back to another high-level game of StarCraft 2. Today we have Ratata. Now this is not a Pokemon, this is the player formerly known as Vanya, as he takes on in the bottom left spawning as the red Terran player, Mr. Special, playing for Team Storm Gaming. Both players known to be aggressive, and Special of course very familiar with playing Mech as well, just a meching player all around. This first SCV, or this first drone, is actually scouting for any SCVs around the main base. Doesn't seem like there are any right now, so he won't find any either. Now, Natural Hatchery will go down as Special decides to open up with a standard barracks before gas. And Special has a lot of different openers that he can kind of use. He has a lot of different tricks that he likes to use. We often see Hellbat pushes out of him. I know he likes to start with battle cruisers, and even something like a double factory opener isn't necessarily that odd to him. He has a lot of build orders that perhaps for other players would be kind of scary to play and he wouldn't feel too comfortable, but Special has a lot of builds that he can transition out kind of seamlessly into a more normal type of game, because although he is a little bit wonky in the early game, he is a macro player. He's a player that kind of keeps it real, you know. He gets his drops out, get his harassment going, and then can just control like any of the others. He can play the late game as well, though he's not the biggest fan of it. CC goes down as indeed he's opening up with a Marine first, and a Factory will follow quickly, most likely here. Yep, there we go. Factory gets thrown down, so we see some of that Factory before reactor action that we have been seeing a little bit more of these days, beyond kind of the main guy that did this for a very, very long time. He'd only play this Factory first builds, but nowadays we see a lot of players trying to mix this in as well. We've seen Maru do it, Dream, Bunny, especially a lot of those Korean Terrans love it, but most people like Clem have been kind of fond of playing these Marine into Factory openers. Just allows you a lot of different tricks here, right? So you can get 2 Marines from this reactor and 1 Hellion and then swap the Factory in the barracks, but you can also just immediately swap these 2, or you can get a single mine out and then do like a 6 Marine 1 mine drop while having 3 cars try to drive into the third base. You can go into Hellbat all-ins from here as well. Like, there's just so many options that you have as a Terran player, and it's kind of tricky for Zerg to scout what's going on, as there's just a very high Marine count. Now, you could say, isn't Overlord Speed good against this? Yes, Overlord Speed is quite good against this, in that you can scout what's going on, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you can properly respond to it in time still, because a lot of these pushes, they hit so early. In order to scout this fast, you would need probably Overlord Speed before getting Zergling speed, and otherwise it's just going to scout too late what actually is happening. Second car is now out as well. The first medevac starts. Third depot on the way on the low ground, as this is an interesting scout that Vanya just got there. I was seeing that second Hellion move out, knowing that most likely the reactor and the Factory did not swap. Otherwise it would be 2 cars moving out, not just a single one. It is going to be a 7 Marine into medevac, followed up by a fusion core. This is an extremely common build, and the main goal with this build is to deny a little bit of vision on the Zerg side with that medevac with the Marines. The Hellions don't really need to do anything, but they often can do something. Just maybe get a couple of drones, take out a creep tumor. It's not the biggest deal, however, if they don't get anything, because you continue producing more and more Hellions. We sometimes even see, after the battlecruiser starts, we can see an armory being built as well, to kind of aid for a potential Hellbat attack with that first VC. So lots of follow-ups. This is a nice start, getting that initial Overlord for free. Actually kind of a deep dive here out of Special. We'll get that first drone for free. Takes a little bit of damage on that car though, as this Ling run by will not get the scout that it wanted. Bailing Nest is on the way, and I do believe here that Ratata is preparing for something along the lines of a Hellbat push with a really quick Bailing Nest. Second and third gas going down as well, and we see the lair being constructed right now. Command center timing gets scouted, and of course it was after the battlecruiser. that might be a little bit of a tell. That's a lot of resources invested into a BC that could have been invested into a quicker command center. And the fact that that wasn't the case might just be a bit of a tell for Ratata, saying, hey, maybe I want to get a couple of spores out. Maybe I want to continue producing these extra queens as well, as there's currently 6 queens, only a single one in the main. If Special gets the sniper queen, that's kind of big, because that can definitely snowball. Marines need to be picked up, and they do end up getting picked up. I think 1 car ended up... No, 2 cars have gone down already. 1 queen, 1 overlord, 7 links, and 3 drones. I'd say this is a pretty okay start for Special. It is nothing special, but it's just fine. It's one of these openers where it's like, this is okay. The BC will need to do something, as at this point Ratata is aware that this is going to be Mech. He sees the quick gases going down, and I mean, with the BC teleporting into the main base, this really can't be anything else. Medevac's going to get picked off here, as Special's going hard on these queens here. Single transfuse will save the queen for a little longer. Now Ratata decides to just go in towards his natural, letting the Spore deal with business in the main. Hellions start marching in towards that third base. There's a couple of links, well, semi in position. Hellions get in, roast 6 drones. They try to move into this little choke, and we'll be able to get there. 3 Hellions die, 4th Hellion is going to fall, but now all the links are gone. Queens need to come in and help. Honestly, not the worst trade here. Obviously losing extra drones is not ideal. But Ratata hasn't really been building any extra links, and that is the correct call. Rather than panicking and saying, oh no, there's Hellions, I don't have units ready, let me get some links, he just continued with his drone production, and because of that, he actually has a really decent worker count right now. 3rd base just now is being taken for Special, 2nd and 3rd factory are on the way, and the 2nd battlecruiser will also join up, but overall, this is not too bad for Ratata. Like, it's not the dream scenario, but it could have been a lot worse. As I said, of course, these 4 extra drones do help Special a little bit here. This queen dies, that actually would be painful as well. I think if Special controlled that a little bit better, that queen would have fallen, as queen in the main base here is also running low. There's some opportunities here for Special, that's for sure. Double armory on the way, 3rd BC also being popped out, and a 4th command center already being built as well. So Special, he's kind of chrono boosting that economy, and he's doing that without playing Protoss, so it's an impressive feat. Scouting barracks, of course, making sure that he knows whatever it is that's going on. Spire gets spotted as well, as triple corruptors are being produced right now. I think these BCs, they can't wait out for this Yamato, as Yamato is a 100-second upgrade, so they'll need to leave at some point. I'd rather have them leave now than tank a couple of extra shots. You can already get the repairing going. Yeah, one of the BCs just teleport home. This one actually is still on cooldown. Needs to be very careful. If Ratata decides to check the top right side, he might almost be able to get it. This is going to be real close. Actually, no, it's not. He will be capable of teleporting back now, right at this moment, and that's exactly what Special does. Straight into the natural. Tank in the natural is also going to be helping out. These Hellions will be able to push back these links. 66 workers currently here for Ratata, who is actually just behind. I said it doesn't look that bad, but honestly it doesn't look that great for Ratata. It really doesn't. Factory 4 and 5 already on the way. The infrastructure here for Special is improving quickly. This command center, I'm not quite sure what it was doing over here, but just having a little detour. Hellions moving in to try and deal some damage with roaches in position. That should not really be possible, right? Ooh, it's actually going to commit to this play. Not sure if I like that. If he gets 10-12 workers, perhaps it's good, but... Well, okay, 10-12 workers. Do lose 8 Hellions, and this does give Ratata some breathing room as well. Let's not forget about that. This is basically telling Ratata, hey buddy, you're allowed to do whatever you want to do right now. Just sit back, relax, and build some drones. And that's exactly what Ratata wants to be doing. He holds down the drone key, 78 out currently. Already 79 workers though for Special. The question is, what will Special follow up with? Because we've seen him in the past play these big 8 factory styles with just pure mech units, eventually even transitioning into a couple of cyclones added on as well. But there's a lot of Koreans, and with Maru kind of leading the way there, who love getting these ghosts added as soon as they can. So they want to be building a lot of barracks, 2-3 extra barracks to get ghost production. Then with ghost mech, it's really difficult for the Zerg to engage into that properly. Now, big scan here out of special. Ooh, almost going to lose a battle cruiser, but instead, I think he just managed to clear 3 corruptors here. Yeah, it's a good pick-off. That's, of course, the power of the Yamato cannons, being capable of taking out these 3 units every minute. What is it, minute or so? I think it's like a minute cooldown on the Yamato cannon. It's just free damage you get to do. And, of course, you need to repair the battle cruiser, so it's not completely free. But it's always an efficient trade, as long as you get these Yamatos off. And that's absolutely brilliant. Hellions are going to try to delay this move out a little bit, or maybe just pick off a few links here and there. As Ratata, what's he going to be doing? Well, getting an infestation pit, spines going down, and 5th base probably should start getting saturated at this point. Maybe some extra gases. Seems like a push is in the works here. Into 7-8 tanks though. Not quite seeing how this is going to be working out here for the Russian Zerg player. This command center might get peed upon. Ooh, it's actually gonna die here. It is going to fall. The command center gets peed on and then gets taken out by just the auto attack. These battle cruisers are in a bit of trouble as well. Missed target fire out of Ratata. Oh my god. Another missed target fire, but does end up killing all 3 of them. And this is a big hit here for Special, who honestly had a good start, but yeah, he's in trouble. He really is in some trouble right now. Losing these BCs, losing that 5th command center, which obviously was going to be this forward 5th base, and that would have been extremely helpful. Now we do have these extra factories out already, factory 6, 7 and 8. And now the question is, what will the follow-up be? Are we going to be seeing... Yep, there we go, 1 extra barracks is being produced. Or did he just lose a barracks and now he needs to produce another barracks so he can make more factories if he needs to? Oh, this is not a good fight here. This is not a good start of the fight here for Ratata. These 6 tanks will get taken out in the end because all of them were clumped up. A couple of Biles managing to hit triple tanks there. 4 Thors on the way as well for Special, but he needs more tanks. He needs something right now to defend this. Without any battle cruisers, this is going to be quite difficult. Once again, Corruptor's taking out a base. I missed that. Special probably also missed that, as he was busy looking at his tanks. He is going to hold for now, and he also kills 17 workers at the same time. So punches being landed left, right, and center on both sides. And Ratata, it felt like he was winning this game in a big way. But now all of a sudden, on 62 workers, struggling to get that worker count back up. I'm not so sure if he's still winning. Sure, he's up a base, or maybe even up 2 bases soon. There's no 5th command center yet either. Every single time Special builds a 5th command center, either gets taken out or another one of his bases gets taken out. Ratata believes that he can continue pushing. Maybe just wants to deny a potential 5th base, but there's not going to be any 5th bases here. Corruptors move towards the far right. We'll see these 3 Hellions. But the Hellions do return, respecting Ratata's map vision. Saying, hey, okay, you spotted me, I know you're a good player, you probably actually also noticed it. Of course, you can spot things, you don't always have to notice it necessarily. Left side base is mining and Ratata is back up to 80 workers. Similar worker count as Special, but Special still only on them 4 bases. The Corruptors come in and they really have nothing to do. Without the BCs around, of course, they're... I don't want to call them dead weight, because they can always morph into Brood Lords eventually. But using them like this is something that I do approve of. With more Ravagers moving in, tanks not quite sieged yet. Thors will eat a couple of these Biles. And the Corruptors fly back home. This planetary is a potential target for these Corruptors in the future. As once again, Ratata decides to go in. Will clear a lot of these tanks, but needs to be very careful. He does not have too much money. He can't just reinforce this forever. And... ooh, that was a nice Bile. Ooh. Couple of nice Biles there. Special is just kind of eating, just tanking those shots with his tanks. It's not usually what you want, of course. 5 Infestors now on the way. I think Burrow is out as well. No, it's not. So without Burrow, Neural Parasite is good, but it's not great. With Burrow, Neural Parasite always comes as a surprise, and just is a tiny tad more dangerous because of that. Now, Thors will try to fight these Corruptors, but the Corruptors will start moving towards his base. I think this is the correct call. And Special needs to start waddling his Thors over there, because these Corruptors, once they get going, are really quick at taking out a base. Like, repair is not just going to be good enough. You need to take out these Corruptors. We need more workers to repair here. Special. 1 Corruptor goes down. 2nd Corruptor will fall immediately as well. But even with very little Corruptors, the damage output of the P on the planetary fortress is a bit too much. And once again, for the third time in a row, the moment that Special wants to establish a fourth base, that fourth gets made into... Or that, sorry, once he wants to establish a fifth base, that fifth gets made into a fourth. And that is definitely an issue here for the Mexican Terran player. A couple of Cyclones are now in the mix. Another armory is being built. We still have no switch into Ghost like we see these Korean Terrans often do. No, Special says, I want to stay on this Mech army and I trust in this Mech army to kind of close the deal. But I'm not so sure if that's going to be possible here. Cyclones are locking on with a lot of these Roaches and Ravagers. Tanks in the back dealing a lot of damage as well. A couple of Fungals still remaining. Oh, one Fungal's going to hit in a big way. And the Biles, because of that, will also manage to connect. Queens joining the front as well. And actually trying to fight these Cyclones. It's not exactly what you want with Queens usually. Cyclones quite powerful against them. Tanks moving forward in big moves once again. A lot of these tanks are being clumped on top of one another, making it very easy for Ratata to bile them down. Ratata, for the first time in a while, is now sporting a bit of a bank even. 3k resources in that bank, 7 bases, and for a gazillion time, these Corruptors are trying to get in position to pee on a building. And with 4 Corruptors, I am not sure if this is going to go down quick enough. Cyclones will come out and help. And as the middle is still somewhat secure... Uh-oh. Here come the Infestors. 1, 2, 3... Oh, there's just a single Neural here. This could unburrow and perhaps throw down a Fungal. It's exactly what's going to be happening here. This is not a great position to fight though for Ratata. Straight up a ramp into 6-7 tanks. I think Ratata believed that he had more Neurals available, but he only had 1. If you take over 3 tanks there, that's a completely different fight. But now, in the end, I mean, it still was an okay fight if you managed to remax and engage immediately after. But otherwise, I'm not so sure how the resources lost this. Yeah, this is Special favored, albeit just very slightly. It is slightly Special favored. A lot of workers on this base. Finally has 5 bases, by the way. It's the first time in this entire game where he's actually mining for... Well, he's not really mining from 5 bases anymore. So the main is mined out. Natural's practically mined out. Cyclone's trying to connect with these Roaches once again. We see Ratata still on that hatchery tech army. A couple of Infestors are mixed in. There's 1 still lurking underground. 5 more on the way. Tanks on the high ground will help out. And I'm not so sure what's actually happening here. As this fight doesn't look bad for Special, but he is losing a lot on the left side. At the same time, does it actually matter? I'm not so sure if it does. Yeah, these have been okay trades, I think, for Special. I think he's been kind of okay with this. Like, losing 6 SCVs is annoying, but he doesn't really have the fresh minerals to mine with 75 SCVs from anyway. He's extremely oversaturated on this 5th base. A couple of workers should move on towards that 4th. Perhaps should start considering taking a right side base as well. Ratata still just on this Ravager, Ling, Infestor army, just making sure that he gets these trades the entire time and then remax quickly on this very low tech but yet effective army. Now, this wasn't too effective of a trade. Cyclones once again kind of lurking around, sharking, trying to get anything they can. And there they look into a couple of Roaches, Neural Parasite on one of the tanks. Ooh, all of the Infestors just get targeted down here. And the Cyclones now closing in to surround this army as well. Means that Ratata is going to lose absolutely everything. 11 workers have gone down on the side of Special. But this base is still going. Ratata needs to be careful here. He really needs to be. 21 more Roaches on the way. He has a lot of gas in the bank, which will allow him to get a crap ton of Ravagers out. Right side base is being harassed by these Hellions. A couple of workers will fall. These double spines over here should be able to help out as the Lynx come in. Trying to get us around. Will they get it? Yep, they will. The cars fall very rapidly after that. Are there any Thors out currently? We have no Thors. 1 Thor on the way. And the first Broodlord's also hitting the field. Oh, it's going to be single Brood harassment. That's kind of cute to see. There's going to be 1 Broodlord over here. 1 Broodlord at the 4th as well. Same time, Hellions once again roasting these Zerglings. Ratata seemingly pretty easily is getting that maxed supply back once again. A lot of that supply does consist of drones, 92 workers. And then there's 15 Ravagers, 7 Infestors. These 2 Cyclones will be able to lock onto the Broodlord. Broodlord with +2 attack. Of course, the Broodlings will also have some nice upgrades, but don't quite think that that is enough. Did a single Broodlord literally kill 13 workers? I mean, it is possible. Just kind of surprising to me. That's a lot of workers that got killed there. That's cool. That really is quite cool to see. If a Broodling kills a worker, does that count for the Broodlord kill count? I'm not sure. I never actually thought about that. Or is it just when the Broodling impact hits? I don't actually know. Wasting 2 fungals there to not get a single Hellion. Usually not quite what you want. These Lings are going to be a bit more effective at that. And they will catch all of these Hellions. Couple of losses, but not the end of the world here for the blue Zerg player. Once again, a bit of a weird engagement here out of Ratata. He's going to move into turret range, and that means that these infestors will get shot immediately. Yeah, absolutely no chance. Still a lot of tanks, but none of them are sieged. Or well, just 6-7 of them are sieged. Resources lost, moving more into favor of Special with every single second. Special completely unsieged here though. Now needs to siege up. There is 2-3 Nurgles. Thor is helping out, and all of these biles are going to connect with the tank army. And I think that this might just be it. As Special does not have the worker count to remax quickly. He does not have the army anymore to stabilize, and I think he's just absolutely dead at this point. Down 60 supply, huge bank still here for Ratata. As the smart servos is being researched, but I do believe that's going to hit a little bit too late. 8 more infestors on the way, 15 roaches are out, 8 more coming, and right now there's only a single tank here. 3 tanks in total. I'm not quite sure where are you at, Mr. Tank? Okay, there's odd positions. I guess he just F2'd and just sieged earlier, because otherwise this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Cyclones are trying to trade with these roaches. It's not going to cut it, I think. I can't imagine that this is going to be it. Right side base was just the 4 o'clock being taken by Ratata right now, and this is Special's base. This is not a base that Ratata is allowed to have. Ratata is also taking the 9, and then he's just expanding absolutely everywhere. He's taking bases that don't belong to him 2 at a time, and there's nothing that Special can do about it as he's flying his main base over to try and take a 6. This barracks will spot the unit movement, will allow him to get into good positions before the fight, but once a single fungal hit on this cyclone-based army, it's just going to absolutely melt, and I don't see anything that Special can really do about that. I like the Cyclones because he wants to trade against the Ravager Roach, but against a single fungal, he could just die. Now we have Ratata moving forward, realizing he's going to lose that left side. He says, okay, you take out my 10th base, I will take out your 5th. What you gonna do about it? Fungals will hit every single SCV as well. This base gets taken out, and Special now is extremely all in. This is the only push he's going to be able to get. Did take out a bunch of workers just now, 75, or well, maybe Ratata actually removed these workers. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but only 75 do remain from 92 earlier. That does mean, however, that there's going to be a very large army. A couple of scans going down. A single fungal will be enough. However, that first fungal is not quite hitting tanks, trying to take out as many Ravagers and Roaches as they can. Tank on the bottom side here gets taken out before it can truly participate in the fight. 2 more tanks on the high ground. GG gets called, and Ratata wins this banger of a game here on Hardwire after a difficult early game in which Special once again showed us his capability, his competence with these early Hellions and the Battlecruiser, but it wasn't enough as he gave away the lead. Ratata came back into the game and managed to win it. Alright, it's going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thank you so much, and bye bye.